Showtime, yeah. Welcome to the Maine-J Show. You know who it is. It's your boy Maine-J, and this is another episode of Maine-Chat. And you know we out, we live, we lit, we in the city, we in the hood. You hear the sirens. I'm keeping it real with y'all. I just got through doing my morning walk, and I decided to give you some scenery. I decided to give you some trees and some grass and some woods and some park. You know, and do what I do. Y'all know what to do. Please like, subscribe, share. Um, you always can email me, Facebook message me, hit me up in the DMs, and I will always respond to y'all. All right. So it's time to answer y'all's questions. All right. So the question that was asked, I got this question on, I want to say like last week sometime. And the question simply was, Jermaine, what is a lesson that you have learned that you apply to your life today? Whew. Lord knows I've learned a lot of lessons. I've learned my lesson. But the lesson I want to talk to y'all about real quick, for about 15 minutes, if that, 10 minutes, is learning that I had to stay in my lane. Stay in my lane. I realized. Let me not get too happy, too ahead of myself. So many moons ago, there was a message that was preached by one of the elders. I don't know if she's watching this, Morgan Fraser Ely. God bless you, woman of God. That had preached a message that was about staying in your lane and just be loving yourself and being who you are. And another message from one of the pastors at my church, Pastor Latrell Chase, who had preached the message, I choose to be happy. And I had realized that, while I knew it, sometimes it takes a word, sometimes it just takes, hearing it from somebody else, that I should be a lot further than where I am. I'm not happy, I have goals, I have dreams, I have aspirations that I'm not reaching. And I realized that I wasn't reaching them, or I'm not where I was, not because people were sabotaging me, not because people were lying on me or scandalizing my name to prevent me from getting to the next level, but because of me. I wasn't staying in my lane. I was, trying to be like other people, or trying to take the same routes that other people were taking, or trying to do and be like what everybody else was, measuring what success was based off what somebody else's success was, or basing failure based on what somebody else viewed as failure. And I realized that I was causing myself a lot more harm, a lot more damage. I was causing myself to be depressed, be in dark places. I was viewing myself as a failure. I was beating myself up. I was putting unnecessary worry and strain and, unnecessary routing and different things, all because, I wasn't staying in my lane, and I had to realize that what God has for me is for me. What God has for somebody else is for somebody else. And, for example, my singing. I have a lot of friends that are coming out with EPs and albums, and my music is still not out yet. And then I'm still trying to do things to get my music out and do this, and I'm rushing and I'm missing unnecessary steps. And I'm not being successful in what I want to do is because I'm looking at everybody else. Not being comfortable with what God gave to me. And I had to repent, because when you're not staying in your lane and you're looking at everybody else, what you're telling God is that he doesn't know what he's doing. He says that he will supply all our needs and that he will give us the desires of our hearts. And he has a perfect will specifically designed for us. And when I'm looking at somebody else's singing gift, or somebody else's preaching, or somebody else's teaching, I'm saying, I want to preach like how they preach, and I want to do all this extra stuff, and I want to sing how they sing. What I'm telling God is I'm not happy with the voice that he gave me. And it's a slap in the face telling God that what he gave me isn't enough. It's not right. So I had to repent. God, the preaching and the teaching style that you gave me, the voice that you gave me, the body that you gave me, the skin color. It's not just always, just wanting the riches or wanting the fame or wanting, the status that people got. Sometimes it's, wanting the body that somebody else has, or wanting the marriage that somebody else has, or wanting the business that somebody else has. And now there's nothing wrong with having examples. Wow, they've been married for 30 years. I want my marriage to last 30 years. but wanting exactly what their marriage is, you might not be able to handle that. And I realized there was a lot of times I didn't stay in my lane, and I tried to do what other people did to get what they had, because it was maybe some of the same things and some of the same goals, but I found myself being miserable and being in a dark place because I went a route that they were supposed to go and I wasn't. You know, for example, we all start, let's just say it's 5 of us. Let's make the race bigger. It's 10 of us. We all start off at exit 1, but my exit is supposed to be exit 20. And I see people getting off at exit 5 and exit 7. 7 is my favorite number. So and exit 7 looks good. Even if God made me a promise that at exit 20, I'll be ready, I'll be prepared, I'll be equipped for what he has, especially for certain things. But I get off at exit 7 with 3 other people that get off at exit 7. That's supposed to get off at exit 7. But then the 3 people that get off at exit 7, y'all drive. One person's supposed to take a left at the light. Somebody else is supposed to take a right at the next light. And then somebody's supposed to be going straight. And then I decided to take a left at the light with the person, and then take a right, then take another left. And they're at their destination. And I'm at their destination. A destination that's prepared and equipped just for them. And then I'm trying to live here and be like, wow, look at what they're doing. I'm here. I'm at the same place. I started off with them. This should be, why isn't things happening? Because I got off the road too soon. Now I'm stuck at a place where I shouldn't be at because I'm trying to live where somebody else is, and I'm trying to be where somebody else is, and I'm not supposed to be here. So now I got to go back and take a U-turn and take the right and take the left, and hopefully there's no detours. And then I got to get back on the highway, and I still got to make my other 7. So I got to do like 13 more exits. And now I'm mad because I see my other people prospering and growing, and I'm still on the highway. Had I stayed on the highway, I probably would be where I need to be or close to where I need to be. And then, who's to say when I get back on the highway, there's not traffic now. There's not a detour. There's not a roadblock. There's not weather stuff that stopped me, that slowed me, all because I got off where I shouldn't have got off at. All because what I thought looked good for somebody else was going to look good for me. Because I thought something was good for somebody else, it was good for me. And I realized that a lot of things, a lot of pressures, certain things, staying in your lane. Well, you should be married by now. And you see people that you came along with getting married, having kids, and now I'm like, let me rush and find a wife. For what? Everything the grass is not always green on the other side. Friends are married, friends got kids, and you hear horror stories like they wish they would have waited, and here I am trying to rush to do something that I'm not ready for, that I'm not equipped for. At exit 20, I'll be ready. At exit 20, I'll be equipped and prepared. But, I had to learn not to rush the process. Sometimes it's your time, but not your turn. Sometimes it's your turn, but not your time. Sometimes you have the qualifications. Your resume is good, but you're still not prepared. Because what I mean by qualifications, but still not prepared, you can have the qualifications and you can give your resume. Excuse me, sorry about that. You can have the qualifications and have the resume and have all the things, but where you're going, this next job, you still might have to do training. Yes, you've been in this field for years and you have the qualifications, but how your new company or your new place does things is different from how your old place. So now you have to do the training. You have to be prepared. If this happens, this is how we do it over here. If this happens, this is who you report to. And you have to learn some of the different things. Yes, you may be prepared. You may have the qualifications, but God is saying that you're not ready yet. And you have to take these necessary steps. And a lot of times I was trying to bypass steps, bypass the process. And then God's saying, no, you have to restart over because you weren't obedient. You didn't stay in your lane. You looked to the left, you looked to the right. You didn't press towards that mark that Paul talks about. Pressing towards the mark. Staying in your lane, running the race. Being not weary while doing. You know what I'm saying? Staying focused. That's why sometimes I shut off the internet and I take a break from it, because sometimes that can be not a discouragement, because when I see my brothers and sisters being blessed and prosperous, it's a great thing. I'm happy for them. But sometimes it can cause me to, wow, Oh, they're ahead. Another one just became a homeowner. Another one just got more business. Another one da 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 da. And then I'm here. I'm ready to rush, 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 rush. You know what, Jermaine? So now the only time I feel like you should get off the road, or that you should take a stop, or take a quick break. Sometimes we get tired. It's okay to they road laws. If you can find the nearest rest stop, take an hour, get a nap before you get back on the road. Or sometimes you may have to stop and evaluate and reevaluate and self-assess. Okay, what am I doing? What do I need to do? Where did I fall off at? You know what I'm saying? Maybe there is a block on the road or something, and I have to figure out how to still stay in my lane, still stay on the same street, the same highway, but maybe getting another lane just to pass this particular thing to get back on, but nevertheless passing the particular steps. So that's one of the biggest life lessons: being happy with who I am, being happy with what I have, being happy with the process, being happy that God chose me to be able to go this way and to be able to go this route, that He specifically planned out certain things for me to go through. So that way, when I get what He has for me, I can enjoy it and I don't mismanage it and I don't abort it. And that song, what God has for me, it's just for me. I know without a doubt that He will bring me out. What God has for me, it's just for me. What God has for you is just for you. And be happy and be content, because He knows what you need. The Bible says that His ways are not your ways. His thoughts are not your thoughts. He sees more and He knows more. He wrote your life. He knows your ending from your beginning to your end. He knows the beginning of the process to the ending of the process, and all the things that you're going to learn along the way. Because sometimes we become not just for ourselves, but we become for others. We become so that way we can give to others. And when you're trying to, you're not going the necessary steps, and you have to backtrack, you might not be where you need to be on time for the people that need you to be where you need to be at on time. And then they miss out on what they're supposed to get from you, specifically from you. Stay in your lane. If you're not a hooper or hollerer, don't try to hoop and don't try to holler. That don't make you less of a preacher and all this. You know how we say, well, oh, if you talked and you could have really been preaching. Oh, you taught tonight. No, he preached. Because I know plenty of people that look at your neighbor, and they told you to look at your neighbor 7 times, turn around 3 times, high five 5 people, walk across the sanctuary, go around, do twirls, and they did all the theatrics, but they didn't preach. They gave you theatrics. They tickled your flesh. They didn't really say nothing. You know how I know? Because people say, what was the message about? I don't remember all of it, but I know they sure enough preached. No, they sure enough tickled your fancy. You can still preach and not do all of that other stuff. And let me tell you something about staying in your lane. If they don't receive your preaching, they don't receive your singing because you didn't do all the riffs and all the runs and all the skills, that's on them. You give the people what God gave you and you take your seat. If they don't receive you, that's on them. But there are plenty of people that will receive you for you and what you give and what you bring to the table. Don't change. Stay in your lane. Don't have kids because everybody else is telling you to have kids and you're not ready. You're not prepared. You may want to adopt instead. If you're not ready for marriage, stay in your lane. I'm staying in the single lane. There's still some things that I want to do so that way when I get married, my mind's right. My body's right. My health. You got to be healthy to have children. They running around. You out of shape. You bent. You tired. No, maybe I want to get a little bit more in shape before I have a child. Mentally in shape. Physically in shape. For a wife. Excuse me once again. That's a whole different ball game. Sometimes people are not, stay in your lane. If you're not ready or you know what God said, what do you want for you? What do you say about you? It's not about what other people say. It's not about, I'm not saying don't have teachers, don't have pastors, don't have parents, don't go to people, don't have earthly counsel and earthly people that help you and that are in your life. But really stay in your lane. Walk in your vein. Be happy with yourself. Love yourself. Don't be like me. Like I said, I dealt with identity confusion. I dealt with identity crisis. I dealt with suicidal ideations. I was depressed. I was all over the place because I was not staying in my lane, and I was trying to be like other people and trying to do other things and being disobedient and not being happy with what God gave me and what God told me and the route that he told me. How come they got the prophecy and I didn't? And how come, they're further off and da 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 da. And you don't know. Sometimes they cheated to get their way there. They lied to get their way there. Sometimes I've learned never to judge a book by its cover. They look happy on Instagram. They look happy on Facebook. They're smiling. Look what I got and look what I have and look at my marriage. And to come to find out their marriage is really falling apart. And here I am trying, I want to get married now. Their kids, they got their kids in the best clothes, but at their house, it's a hellhole. You want that great ministry and that big ministry, but you don't really understand that they really losing their mind. They make it look good for the social media, but behind closed doors, they're really about to throw in the towel. They really want to quit. They're really about to kill themselves. They're really about to get the divorce. They really want to get rid of their kids. Can't stand their kids. Can't stand their life. And some of the reason why because they didn't stay in their lane. So don't just go off of what you see somebody else in their lane and what they have and measure that as success. If you bless one person being you, or you reach the people that God assigned to you, and they're able to be blessed and be healed and be saved and be set free and have some example and have some encouragement looking at your life, then you've done your job. Stay in your lane so you don't miss out on what God has for you. People don't miss out on what God has for them because you're not in place. You're not in order. You're not in the lane. And, just recently, I know I'm saying it right, because many people have come up to me and said, thank you, Jermaine, for coming forward. I wish you would have, and I had to apologize and repent to God because I always wanted to have a platform where I could talk about, being in my lane, growing up in the foster care system, talking about, molestation in the church and some of the things that I've gone through. I should have been speaking about this. I should have been doing this. And there was no reason to stop me, but I was looking at other people going, and God said, no, I have a specific route that I want you to take. And if you follow these and if you seek me, you do these the right way, trust me, everything will follow. But once again, when you want something then and you want it now, you have to look at all the steps. Some of the stuff that you're going to have to lose, some of the people you're going to have to lose, some of the stuff you're going to have to give up. Y'all understand? You're like, well, if I take this shortcut, I won't have to give up these people. I won't have to give up these things. And God's saying, you have to give up because they're weights. I know what you need. I know what you need to give up. I know you can't take some of these things into where I have for you. I understand some of these people are great people. I understand that some of these things are great things, but you can't take this into your new home. You can't take this to your new job. You can't take this to your new level. You can't take this to your new place, your new dimension. And I want you to stay the course, because you shall reap if you faint not. Your latter will be greater than your former. You may have lost or gone through some things, but trust me, when you get to where I need you to go, all that stuff will seem minute. So for me, that was one of the biggest lessons. It's just staying in my lane, learning how to love myself, learning to be true to myself, learning to be true to who Jermaine Earl Butts is, aka Maine-Chat. And I'm realizing that that's working. There are going to be people who talk, people that don't understand you. That's fine. It's not for them to understand you. Once again, what's for me is for me. What God tells me, how God instructs me, is for me. People's not going to understand the level of faith that you're supposed to have. And it's not going to make sense. One thing my late bishop used to say, when it makes sense, it ain't God. Just because of the mind of God. And I just want y'all to stay in your lane. I understand that everything is fast these days, and you see quick successes, and you see people doing what you're supposed to be doing, and they're being successful at it, and they're being faster at it. But it's your time. When it's your time, it's your time. And just respect and love the process. Respect the process. Because when you get to where you go, How many of you ever looked back and said, I'm kind of glad I went through this and I stayed. I'm kind of glad I dealt with this, because if I wouldn't be prepared today for where I'm at. Or you look back and you say, wow, if I wouldn't have gone through this, I wouldn't be able to help this person. Don't beat yourself up because your lane was to have a baby out of wedlock. Don't beat yourself up because your lane was growing up in the foster care system. Don't beat yourself up because, you have to work a certain job and you have to go through this way, and other people didn't have to start at the bottom. Go through the necessary steps. Respect the plan, respect the life that God wrote out for you. Because I guarantee you, a year from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now, you're going to look back and say, God, I thank you for allowing me and giving me this path. I didn't see it, but he leads me. He directs your steps. He orders them. And he knows what's best for you. He knows that lane is great for you. You know what I'm saying? So just respect. That's one of the biggest lessons I had to learn. Stay in your lane. If I can't repeat it enough and stress enough, stay in your lane. If I can't repeat enough, love yourself. I understand that sometimes our lanes are hard because we have to go through some things and it's hurtful and it's painful. But God will always carry you through, see you through. And it's always for a purpose. And it's always to bring glory, not to you, but to bring glory to him. Don't despise your days of small beginnings. Don't even despise your pain from your beginning. You use all of that as fuel to keep on driving till you get to the exit that you're supposed to get off on. To go down that road, and then once you get to there, on the next journey that God has for you. But he will give you strength for the journey. When you're getting a little weak, he'll give you strength. In our weakness, God's strength is made perfect. So just stay in the lane, stay in the process. Love it. Enjoy it. It's not going to be easy, but enjoy the process, because you're going to be able to enjoy what's after it, because you stayed there and you endured and you pressed and you fought. You know what I mean? So if you don't take nothing else from me, one of my many lessons, stay in your lane. 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 I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if this is a faster route. You can take this left, take this right, and get there, 3 hours earlier. Stay in the lane. Because if you don't, you're going to have to go back to that same place and start again. Or if you do get there, you're going to be there quicker and you're not going to be able to enjoy it, and you're going to put more added pressure, more depression, more stuff on you that had you just stayed where you stayed. So remember, obedience is better than the sacrifice. These allergies are kicking my butt. Stay in your lane. Be honest with the promise. Be honest with the process. It ain't easy. No one's saying that. There are plenty of days when I had the question, God, why so long? Why I gotta go this route? This is taking extra. Look at my peers. Look what they got, and I'm still here. And I had to repent, because I'm just like, well, God, what you have for me is for me. And I realized I wouldn't want nobody else wanting what you have for me, because they wouldn't be able to handle it. And like I said, there's been plenty of times when I try to walk in other people's shoes, and I'm like, you know what? This ain't for me. And I wasted time trying to walk in somebody else's shoes when I should have been comfortable in my own. Seek God. Help him to give you strength, to help him to have you have a confidence in yourself, to be who you are, authentically you. Don't switch it for nobody. Make some adjustments. Yeah, we all have to grow. We all have to mature. We all, grow up in life. Make adjustments. One of the things that my late bishop used to say, don't ask God to take the fight out of me. Just change the way how you fight. You know, if you're a loud person and stay in your lane, continue to be loud. But maybe be loud as in being a lawyer. Maybe be loud as in, sticking up for what's going on in our country, out on the streets. We want justice. We want this, we want that. We're not gonna settle. You know what I'm saying? Be comfortable with whatever your voice is. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn to stay in my lane. I used to get made fun of. Your voice is soft, your voice is soft, your voice is soft, da da da. But it's funny because whenever I used to sing, Padre, man, you have such a beautiful tone, soft, clear, pure. Your voice is beautiful. Yeah, my singing voice y'all like, but y'all make fun of my talking voice. And I used to try to do things to make my voice deeper and da 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 da. And God said, I gave you that voice. Because there's people who's going to be able to listen to your voice and hear me through your voice. And I gave you that singing voice too. It's one and the same. Stay in your lane, love yourself, and be happy in who I made you and who I called you to be. Everybody's voice is not the same. Everybody's looks not the same. Everybody's approach is not the same. Yes, you may be in business. Yes, you may be in finance. Yes, you may be a preacher. Yes, you may be a teacher. Yes, you may be a singer, a dancer. And yes, there's some things that you follow as far as maybe warm-ups but everyone is different. And there's enough room for everybody to be themselves. So you stay in your lane. You love yourself. You be happy with what God gave you. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I know I said 10, 15 minutes, but I guess this was a sermon. This was me getting my preach out. This is my side, but stay in your lane. Please stay in your lane. I want to say it one more time for the bald head chick in the back that your tracks are coming out. Okay? Stay in your lane. And that's it. Thank you all for listening to me for one of my many lessons. I hope I wasn't too loquacious. I hope I didn't go too far all over the place for y'all, but that's pretty much it. And until the next time, I'll answer another question in a few days. Y'all know where to hit me up, themainjshow@gmail.com, The Maine J Show on Facebook, The Maine J Show on Instagram, The Maine J Show on Snap, The Maine J Show on YouTube, wherever you see me. And that's that. Stay in your lane. Love yourself. God bless you. Continue to pray for me. Continue to lift me up. And definitely give me feedback. Leave comments. And that's pretty much that. Peace.
Since he came, there's been a change. I no longer